Okay, good afternoon. So I'm going to show you how to make a star table topper. We're going to get started on it today. So get yourself a block. I have these old blocks that I made years ago, and we are going to make this into a star table topper. So this block, let me get a ruler and I'll tell you how big this block is so you can know. Okay. This block is 10.5 inches, so it would finish in a quilt at 10 inches. It's 10.5 inches square. And I am going to use a 5-inch square, just a random square that I had. It doesn't match the white on the back, and I don't care. That'll be just fine. We're going to take and we're going to cut on the diagonal. So if you want to draw it first, you can, and then cut it, but not necessary. We're going to cut on the diagonal the two 5-inch squares, okay? And I will give you a link to my blog that has this pattern on it. Okay, I'm closing my rotary cutter for those of you that are concerned. Okay, now we already know where the center of each of these blocks is because it has a seam. If you didn't have a seam, if this was one piece right here on your block, you would just fold your block in half and you would make a little pinch right there, and that would give you a space to mark. So I'm going to mark this with my water soluble. It's not water soluble, it's an air dry. Okay, now this piece is going to go like this. And so how do we center that up? Well, we're going to put it right sides together with our points, and we're going to pinch. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's created a little fold there in the fabric, and I will mark it just so you can see it better. Let's see if I can see it. Okay, right there. Okay, so those two pieces are going to go together, and we're going to put them right like that. And I'm going to get myself a little pin here and tuck it in. My tabletop is full of fabric right now and projects that are going to be getting done. I've got a couple quilts to do for some clients this week, and those will be getting done here shortly. Okay. Now you're going to repeat this for each of the sides of this square. I just have some random fabric under here to get it started. You're going to sew 1/4 inch. I've got my Rocketeer out today because my Bernina's been acting up a little bit. So let's see if I can get my foot pedal to go right. There we go. I just love this machine. I get these magnetic holders from Harbor Freight, and they hold all your pins in place, and they're cheap. They're just like $1 or $2. Now you can use any block you have. It doesn't have to be, a Christmas block. It could be Valentine's Day. It could be whatever. It could be just a pretty block you have that you have that's random and you want to get it done, and make it into a little table topper. This is just so much fun and so quick. Okay, so we've done that one side, and when we fold it out, that's what we're going to have. Okay, so we're going to repeat that on the other side so you'll get an opportunity to see what's going on here. Okay, so we're putting right sides of the fabric together, and we're pinching, and that creates a little fold in the fabric right there. Then we're going to match that up to the center. If you have a block, again, that doesn't have a seam right there in the center, you go ahead and fold your fabric in half and go ahead and pin it right there. And you'll create a a center for your seam. This way your star will always be lined up just properly. Now you can clip this, you can do whatever you like. I just pin it. That works for me right now. And so there we go. You don't have to backstitch because all these seams are going to be inside and are not going to be getting tugged on. My Singer does have a light here, but it's an older light bulb. I probably need to replace it at this point, maybe with a newer bulb. But I use this Vivilux, which is wonderful. It's rechargeable. It's a LED light. It gives me nice bright light, and I can use it on all my machines by just putting a little Velcro tape and adjusting the light where I want it for my stitching. So that's what I'm using there. Okay, and we'll just finger press that, and we'll move on to the next corner. Okay, or next side, I should say. So we're in the center again. Give it a pinch. I'll give it a little mark so we can see it. And that just goes and gets pinned down there. I've done lots and lots of these. I've done some really pretty blue and gold ones for my husband's aunt. She likes those colors, and they were pretty floral patterns and kind of old-fashioned blocks with a lot of curved piecing. And you can just, any kind of block you have. I'm not kidding. It just, if you have a block, it's going to be beautiful. Okay, come on, little thread. There we go. I love this machine. I might just keep this out all the time. I bought this on eBay, and when I got it, it didn't work. And so I had to go through and clean it and oil it. It was very dirty. It had been out in somebody's barn for a long time. Okay, and our last side now. Okay. So we're going to pinch the seam together again. Just put your points together. And you can see this has an edge that's been cut with pinking shears, because that's how they do layer cakes and pre-cuts now. So they have a machine that comes down and cuts them that way, so they don't have too much fray on the edges, which is nice. But you just have to make adjustments for that in your cutting. For this one, I measured to the outside of the zigzag there of the pink on the fabric. Okay, this is our last side. This machine just has such a beautiful stitch. Okay. The Rocketeer machine was constructed in the 1960s. And let's see, do I have my roller? I do. It was constructed in the 1960s, and it was at a time when we were on the race to the moon, and so rockets were very prevalent. Space age things were very prevalent, and it was a design feature in this machine. They have a slant needle, which is wonderful to sew with, and the top, I'll show you here in just a moment. The top pops up on this machine. Get these out of the way. So there's our star. Before I get sidetracked on the machine, there's your star points. Now what you'll do is you'll go ahead and cut yourself a piece of backing fabric and some batting, and you'll layer your batting and backing, and then you can go and quilt this as you desire. And then I will show you in another week how to do the binding. I will demonstrate that for you because the binding can be a little tricky. So I hope that is fun for you. You can make these points any size that you want. You can make them the same size as the angle, which is what I've done here. You could make them smaller, so they could be points that would be more in line with this, but they're going to look beautiful whatever way you do them. Once you put the binding on, it's going to be pretty. So I will show you how to do all that. In the meantime, get your blocks out, get your pieces on the sides, and when we come back next time, I will have this, the batting and backing on it, and I'll probably have quilted a little bit of something on it. I'm going to keep it simple. You don't need to do it on your long arm. You can do it right on your machine. It'll be fun. And then we'll talk about the binding, and we'll do that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Rocketeer. I'm going to take this thread out for a second because these close down. I got to put these in the little holder. There's a little holder there for your felts. And this comes right down like that. So you can see it was a very streamlined machine for its time. This is very emblematic of that era as well as the ovals on everything here. I hope you can see that. This actually will lift up the presser foot, the plate, if you're going to do some free motion quilting or some, what is it I want to call it? Mending, some mending of your clothing, and you needed to have free motion to do that. So you have two, you can do a double needle. You have two thread stands here, and there's actually a third one that can go in the top. This is where you, if you have extra cams, which I do, I have all the cams, all the parts to the machine, you would go ahead and put them in here. And I'll tilt this back just a little bit so you can see the top inside. All these stitches come in the machine. There's a cam stack in the machine, and you just adjust it by selecting BL. So you would go B, and then you would go over here and select L with the back. One's a front and one's a back stack. And you would go ahead and select those letters, alpha letters, and adjust the numeric as you need to. And then it would go ahead and stitch those out, and you could make adjustments and do all kinds of things with it. Then you can go ahead and put your fashion, they were called fashion discs, into the cam center there, and they would be ready for you to get some fun sewing done. So I hope that's interesting to you, and it's an all-metal machine. It sews beautifully. If you come across one and you can restore it yourself, great. I love them. They're not a very portable machine. They're very heavy. It's solid metal, very heavy. It's difficult for me to lift. But like I said, my Bernina is acting up on me right now. I think the presser foot needs to be replaced on it. The feed dogs need to be replaced on it. This has beautiful feed dogs, and it just is a lovely machine. Anyway, that's it. I hope the star top gets made this week, and we'll come back next week and we'll finish it up. It's a quick finish. You'll love it. And you will want to make a bunch of them for Christmas presents. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.